So I actually am ugly.
Just busted, yeah. And I think that they just like they're looking at you like, oh my gosh, she's so ugly, and then they can't say that, you know. But good luck on that interview, baby, tomorrow night. I'm gonna be right there to support you.
Thanks.
Hey bombshells, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see in the previous video, that was a young woman in the car with her mother, and her mother was calling her, ugly. Clearly the young lady is a beautiful woman. She's absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't stop staring at her hair, all that beautiful hair she has, that nice skin she had, her beautiful features, everything about her, even her voice, her tone, absolutely beautiful. But her mother just randomly comes out of the blue and says that she's ugly, or says like rude and mean things to her. And this typically happens when you have a mother that is jealous of her daughter, or a narcissistic mother. And I've had this topic on my mind for a while now. So let's go ahead and dive a little deeper here, because when we talk about narcissistic mothers and jealousy, we have to talk about how this shows up in real life, especially for women who grow up being told they are too something, whether that's too pretty, too smart, too confident, too independent. There is a very specific experience some daughters have where they feel like they are being emotionally studied instead of emotionally nurtured. Like their mother is watching them the way society sometimes watches women who are perceived as valuable. And I want to be real about something that affects a lot of women socially. Sometimes a jealous mother prepares her daughter for a world that she believes is cruel, but the teaching is not coming from protection, it's actually coming from projection. So instead of teaching daughters how to move confidently through life, she teaches her how to stay small enough to not trigger envy, attention, or male desire. And this is a very common in environments where women were raised to believe that beauty is dangerous rather than a form of social leverage. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. When a girl grows into a beautiful woman, it changes how the world treats her. And if a mother experienced social rejection, colorism, economic insecurity, or romantic abandonment, she may unconsciously start seeing her daughter's beauty as a reminder of everything she's lost or she's never had. This is not always conscious hatred. Sometimes it's emotional survival distortion, but the daughter still experiences it as rejection, and that pain sits in the body. It sits in the way she speaks, the way she stands, the way she apologizes unnecessarily in adult relationships. Some women were raised by jealous, narcissistic mothers, growing up overperforming kindness because they learned early that being soft made the emotional environment safer. But the problem is that people who are trained to be emotionally accommodating often attract people who exploit emotional generosity. Healing from this requires learning that your worth is not negotiable. You do not have to earn the right to exist confidently. So here are some signs that you are still emotionally enmeshed with a jealous narc mother. So when you're still tied emotionally to the narc mother dynamic, the first sign is excessive guilt when you set boundaries. If you feel like you are a bad daughter just for protecting your peace, that is usually a sign that emotional conditioning is still operating in your mind. Healthy adult relationships allow separation without emotional punishment. The second sign is seeking maternal approval in your romantic relationships. Now, what this looks like is you might find yourself choosing partners who remind you of the emotional atmosphere you grew up in because it feels familiar, even if it is painful. So you may look for people that treat you badly, or you may look for people that talk down to you or make you feel less than, because as a child you grew up to believe that that is a form of love and that is how people express themselves. Because a lot of times when we have these kind of narc parents, they will say, oh, I'll just tell you these things to protect yourself. Oh, I didn't mean it, I love you, I love you. They use that love word extremely loosely, so unconsciously we may believe that love is something that's negative, which is actually is the opposite. Or we may believe that in order for a person to love us, they must hurt us. And so that makes you be attracted to a lot of toxic people, a lot of toxic relationship, and you're kind of looking for this kind of sense of approval in your romantic relationship. So instead of you recognizing that you have a partner that is not good for you, that means well, and that you should get out of that situation, instead you'll be like, wow, I have to stay here and I have to prove myself. For example, if you have a partner and they're just constantly talking about the way you look, wow, I really don't like the way you wear your makeup, wow, I really don't like your hair, instead of you saying, I don't really think I should be with this person constantly makes me feel bad about myself, this person makes me feel less than, I feel like I'm not good enough, I don't feel like I'm attractive in this relationship, this is affecting my self-esteem, I should get away from this person. You then start obsessing over being perfect. So you may change your hair to the way they want, or you're constantly checking what photos of women that they're following online or they're liking, or if they're constantly cheating on you, you're comparing yourself to the woman that they're cheating with, even if the woman that they're cheating with, which is more than likely a less attractive version of you, you start to think that, wow, I look at this person, I feel like I'm more attracted than this person, but clearly they think this person is more attractive. So am I the ugly one? You start questioning yourself. You start putting those kind of negative thoughts within your head because you're seeking that approval. So you might find yourself choosing partners who remind you of the emotional atmosphere you grew up in because it feels familiar, even if it's painful, y'all. And just speaking about this topic, it's so triggering, and this video was kind of like a healing point for me as well, experiencing similar things. So sometimes this looks like dating emotionally unavailable men, controlling men, or men who create competition instead of partnership. The third sign is oversharing your life, hoping for validation that never comes. So some daughters keep trying to get emotional recognition from a mother who is incapable of giving it in the way that they need. So you may need your mother to tell you that she's proud of you, or she's happy of all the things that you've accomplished, or she's happy that you're getting married, or she's celebrating your new birth of your child or your children, or she's proud that you're being a better mother than she is. And you never kind of receive that validation. Or let's say you're older and you're confronting that parent of, how you felt as a child, the things that they did that made you feel very uncomfortable, the things that they did that made you feel like, I am not getting the things that I deserved and loved, as a child. And instead of your mother taking pride or, taking responsibility or being accountable, she may avoid that, or saying, well, I gave you everything you wanted, or I worked 2 jobs, I worked 3 jobs, I did what I could do, oh, you're being dramatic, you're being ungrateful, look what I got, look what I did for you. So it'll kind of make have that kind of guilt trip. And it's, that doesn't mean that you stop loving your mother. It means, you stop abandoning yourself while trying to earn her emotional, stability. Imagine being a little girl and realizing that the first woman who envied you was your own mother. So, jealousy between women is something that society talks about, but no one wants to talk about what happens inside of the house. And so, unhealed women do not mentor what they secretly resent, they compete with it. And competition between mother and daughter creates a silent battlefield where the daughter doesn't know that she's fighting. So, a jealous narc mother, she may compete with your appearance, diminish your accomplishments, sexualize you early out of projection, warn you that men only want one thing, which is going to cause you to feel like, oh, well, I am only worth more of my body, or I'm only worth my body, or this is what I have to offer men because I'm being taught that men only want one thing. So if I have to give men, it's just one thing that I have to prioritize, which is the cookie jar, which we all know is not true. But it's not also what you say is how you say it. And because you're beautiful, she's just always going to look at you as like Jezebel. And that's, once again, that's not anything that you should feel like is a problem or that you should feel guilty about. That is something that your mother has to work on. And a lot of times they want to, come at you and talk about your looks by telling you, you think you all that. Comparing you to other girls constantly, or complimenting your friends and not complimenting you, or being more nice to your friends. When your friends come around, she turns into this good, loving, great parent. But when she was with you, she was none of those things. Those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. And it's not because you are flawed, but because you represent something that she feels is slipping away. Now, I want you to shift your power. Dark feminine psychology teaches emotional awareness without self-sacrifice. So if you grew up in this dynamic, your healing is not about revenge. It is about detachment. Detachment is power. You stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking validation from this woman. You stop arguing to be understood, because the truth is you'll never receive nurturing from someone who sees you as a rival. And the sooner that you accept that, you stop begging for what they cannot give you. You move differently. You share less. You protect your glow. Protect your skin. Protect your wrinkles, ladies. Protect yourself. Not out of bitterness, out of self-preservation. And did your mother ever compete with you growing up? Were you the golden child, the scapegoat, or the threat? Let me know in the comments, and let me know how you have healed from that. Did your mother celebrate you or criticize you more? If you're answering like yes to any of these questions that I'm going to ask you, that is a sign that your mother was a narcissist. And I also want to know, at what age did you recognize that this wasn't normal? Was it when you went around other kids? Was it when you seen other mother to daughter dynamics? Was it when you became a mother yourself? When did you realize that what your mother was doing to you was not normal? And sometimes when you become successful, your narc mother, she really cannot handle when you become successful. So when you become successful, that takes away from your mother's control, because you do not need her financially. You do not need her physically. You do not need her for anything, because anything that you desire, you can provide on your own. So your mother might tolerate you when you're struggling, okay? But she might resent you when you start winning. So let's talk about adult daughter success. When you start making more money, looking better than ever, dating high value men, especially when your mother didn't date high value men, or let's say your dad was a pookie, or people that she dated in the past, or let's say she even fumbled someone who was of value and she settled for less, and now she feels like it's too late for her. She doesn't have it. A lot of times they cannot take it. Like, they cannot take it when you have a man that's taking care of you, or you have a man that's providing for you or giving you a ring. They may say, oh, you must be selling that, or oh, that's what he got you. She'll never be 100% happy for you, because she has that kind of jealousy within her heart. That's what happens with a lot of narc mothers. Or she'll be counting on your downfall within that relationship, or she may even go to the great extent of trying to flirt with your own man. Like we saw that with the game and, Evelyn and that whole situation and that whole drama of when the daughter was on the podcast and the daughter was expressing how he doesn't help her with the children. She almost looked like she was breaking down and crying, and the mother was laughing while at the same time accepting compliments from this man who has clearly caused damage to your daughter and has clearly is not taking care of the things that your daughter needs as a somebody that she's with and as a parent in the relationship. And he's telling your daughter, well, I told you I wasn't going to do this, I told you this, I told you that, and you're sitting here laughing while your daughter is going through emotional warfare. So that is the kind of stuff that your narc mother will do, or she starts to feel better, because especially when she's older, because then she's like, oh, I'm older and I can bag the same guys that my daughter can. I must be attractive. Or, yeah, see, I told you you wasn't better than me. Look at me. I can get those kind of guys. That is the kind of thinking that a narc mother will have in comparison to her daughter, because she wants to compete with her daughter. She sees her daughter as competition. She does not see her daughter as someone that she gave birth to and she should be mentoring, giving examples of love and caring for. Instead, she sees her daughter as competition. So what you have to do is start building your own confidence, and however that works. So whether you need to go to the gym to work out, whether you need to try new hairstyles, whether you need to go to the latest MAC or Sephora and get your makeup done and have them tell you what makeup works best, what is your color, whatever it is that makes you feel better to cover up certain things about yourself, or to makes you feel more confident. What makes you feel more confident? What is something that you want to be? Another way to find your confidence is look at things that you put on a pedestal. Do you look at women that are successful and own businesses? Do you put them at high regards? Okay, become that kind of woman then. That's something that you internalize. Do you feel confident when you wear classy clothes, or you're wearing more formal fit, or when you're more modest? Do you feel more confident that way, but you dress sexy because all of your friends dress sexy at the club? No, you dress how you want to dress. Do things that make you feel more confident as a woman, because you are your own woman. Create that social influence, whether you need to start a YouTube channel, whether you need to start a girl club if you want to help younger women who have experienced what you have experienced. Anything that you want to be to create that kind of influence for you, allow yourself to be that. If that's something that you crave, if you're more introverted, you can make a faceless YouTube channel. You can do things at home that makes you feel good. You can become an anonymous blogger. Just do things that give you that kind of voice that you did not have when you were a child, and you needed that kind of voice, with your parents and your mother and people that were supposed to care for you that did not care for you. Moving out emotionally and physically is very important, that you move out, not just out of your mom's house physically, but emotionally as well. You don't want to keep burdening and keeping that house within your mind, because a lot of people think, oh, I'll just leave and I'll just be done with this. No, because the emotional and mental trauma still carries with you. So you want to be that kind of person that is healed and let go of things that no longer serve you. You have to learn to let go. Because a jealous narc mother can escalate. So she may act uninterested in your achievements. Change the subject when you share good news, such as marriage, a baby, career goals that you have set for yourself. Substantially insult your success. So those are covert ways of like, oh, well, okay, he's taking care of you. Ooh, you must did something for that. Or, oh, that's all you did. Oh, you got a degree. Oh, okay. Like she's not celebrating for you as the way that you would want your mother to, or she's not hyping you up as the way your mother should do for, a daughter. Claim that you've changed. A lot of times when you become, your own woman and you start setting these kind of boundaries for yourself, they'll try to guilt trip you and saying that you're changed or you're not who you want to be. What really they're saying is you're no longer their punching bag, and they don't like it. They accuse you of thinking that you're better than everyone else. Let's say you are a first generational college student or you're a first generational college grad. Sometimes those kind of narc mothers, they will accuse you of thinking that you're better than everyone else. But here's what's really happening. Your growth disrupts the hierarchy. So if she positioned herself as superior your whole life, your success changes her identity. It challenges her identity or that hierarchy that she has put above you as your mother. Some mothers sabotage you emotionally. They might bring up past mistakes that you've done in the past to humble you. They may question your relationships. They might plant doubt when you're thriving to try to throw you off of game. And that's where a lot of daughters get confused, because part of you still wants that approval, but power comes when you realize you don't need applause from someone who benefits from your insecurity. You do not want to be seeking approval from a woman that will never find anything that you do as great. It is not your fault that your mother did not accomplish the things that she should have did. It is not your fault that your mother could not find a relationship. It is not your fault that your mother is overweight. It is not your fault that you are more attractive than your mother. None of that is your fault. That is something that your mother has to use. Your mother needs to grow up mentally and understand that you are not her fault. You are not a reflection. You did not ask to be here. You do not guilt trip yourself because your mother feels insecure. You do not want to do that at all. That's when you take in control of yourself within your boundaries in adulthood. So if your mother cannot celebrate your success without competing, you reduce your access to your mother. Access to you is a privilege. You do not have to share every win. You do not seek advice from someone who envies you. You do not over-explain your growth, and that's not cruel. That is called emotional mature strategy. You as a grown woman, you do not have to allow anyone to have access to you or be around you or disrupt your growth. Now, we're going to get a little deeper here. Some daughters sabotage themselves to keep their mothers comfortable. So you may start underachieving, downplaying your beauty, choose partners that are beneath you, choose partners that are wrong for you, and you know they're wrong for you because you witnessed your mother date these same kind of individuals and nothing good came out of that situation. Sometimes you will dim your ambition, making yourself seem dumber, not pursuing certain things in your life because you don't want to seem like you're better than anyone or you're trying to outachieve anyone. And that is called self-sabotage, because being small feels safer than being resented. You're too busy worried about someone resenting you when you've already been resented by these individuals, and there is nothing that you can do to change that mindset. But that safety that you think is, protecting you, is really a cage that's going to hold you back, and then you're going to become the same kind of bitter woman that your mother is. And if you're watching this video and you're shrinking yourself to avoid maternal tension, I need you to hear this clearly. You were not born to be digestible. You are born to evolve. And if your evolution triggers someone, even your mother, that is not your burden to carry. So here's the hardest truth of all. Sometimes healing means grieving the mother you wish you had. And that grief can be quiet. It can show up years later. It can show up when you see a healthy mother-daughter relationship and feels a crack inside of you, that you may feel something that you feel like you've healed from. And every time you see that mother-daughter situation, it makes you feel sad. It makes you feel angry. But you do not want to project. You don't want to project that onto your daughters. You do not want to turn yourself into your mother. You want to heal from this. And most importantly, before you have any children, if that is something that you want to do, if you feel like you cannot heal from that, you're not healed from that, please do not have children, because all you will do is become the same mother that your mother was. And if you already have children and you feel yourself being angry and you feel yourself projection, therapy, journal, get yourself together. Your child is not a burden to you. Your child did not ask to be here. The same voice that you needed as a little girl is the same voice that your children need. You do not want to become that kind of parent. Okay? And grieving does not mean hating. You do not have to hate your mother. I'm not saying that, but it means accepting your reality. You accept what she could give. You accept what she couldn't. And then you build the emotional life that she never modeled for you. You become the woman who nurtures herself. You protect your softness. You refine your boundaries. You move in silence. Celebrate in silence. Learn to celebrate your wins. If you have a toxic family that will not be happy for you, why are you sharing information and sharing your positive moments with people that are negative and that are going to stump all over it? It makes no sense. And most importantly, you got to stop shrinking, because your success is not betrayal, your beauty is not disrespect, and your independence is not abandonment. You are allowed to outgrow the emotional cage you were raised in. And if this video resonated with you, I want you to comment, I choose to grow. Also, please check out the membership channel. Click on my page, click members only, and go ahead and sub, whether it's to level 1 or level 2. I will be posting more videos for the members only club, as well as you guys can, comment and tell me different story times or different topics that you want me to make videos on specifically, and I will make them only exclusively to my members. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, because this channel is about evolving past the emotional patterns that we are used to and diving into all things beauty and womanhood and femininity. Thank you for being here, and have a lovely day, bombshells. I love you. Stay beautiful. Mwah.